Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the last of the ancient trio, which is Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, and Gouging Fire. So today is going to be Gouging Fire. So my other computer kicked the bucket, and I've heard that it sounds different. If you guys like it better or worse, then comment if this sounds better or if it sounds worse, because if it sounds better, then I can keep going on this computer, but if it sounds worse, then I'll just have to go. I'll switch back once the other one gets fixed. So to start off, Raging Bolt. He is a fire dragon type, which is actually really good typing, and his stats are probably the best distributed out of any of the paradox, or any of the ancient paradox Pokemon. He's not super fast, but he's not. But 91 is like a pretty good speed. His defense is very it's just solid stats. Like the good news is that special defense doesn't matter. I mean, not special defense. Special attack doesn't matter really at all. And the fact that that's his lowest stat really helps him distribute the rest of his stats actually really well. I think that you might prefer if the defense was a little bit lower and the attack was a little higher, but honestly, it's pretty good stats. Uh, Next, we're coming to moves. Honestly, it has a pretty good move pool. The majority of what I see people running are like Howl and like Flare Blitz with Burning Bulwark most of the time. Raging Fury is basically fire type outrage. It's bad. So even if you think it's like a signature move, it's not. It was released with Legends Arceus and it's bad. So you probably always want to be running Flare Blitz over Raging Fury. Lava Plume is actually a really uncommon move. Not very many Pokemon get this, and it unlocks a lot of potential with uh, Flash Fire. Well, mostly just Flash Fire. I'm not sure what other abilities you're going to be using that with. I guess Steam Engine, but Colossal sucks. So, yeah, Lava Plume is definitely an interesting one, but very rarely do you see people using it unless they're going for a very specific strategy with Chandelure or something. So, Burning. Actually, let's go over some of the other moves first. He actually has Gouging Fire actually has a lot of very powerful supporting moves. Not that they're not that he's doing a ton of damage, but he's just, for example, Snarl's always been a very good move. You have Bulldoze for lowering speed. You have Dragon Tail, which I think is underplayed. I think it actually has a lot of potential, but I very rarely see anyone ever using Dragon Tail. The ability to just switch out your opponent's Pokemon and this is a fast Pokemon, especially if you're using your Photosynthesis ability, is just really strong. You're getting damage and they're not, so it's very strong. You have Substitute, even though you're probably not going to be wanting to run it. You have Iron Head for coverage. You have Stomping Tantrum for coverage. You have, you have some moves that probably aren't like that. You're probably not going to really want to run like Reversal, which is kind of bad. You could potentially run Earthquake or Stone Edge for coverage, but it's really just it's not that good. Like they don't really work that well on them. Yeah, so basically we'll get to it later, but his move pool it's not really based around doing damage, which is funny because his stats kind of say that he's based around doing damage. But his move pool is more supportive, and his stats are more offensive, which I think is where some of the trouble with this Pokemon starts. So Burning Bulwark, this is his signature move, and it's basically protect, but if something makes contact, if someone uses a contact move into it, it'll get burned. So it's definitely a better version of protect. It's probably also better than Spiky Shield. It's a good ability for sure. I mean, not ability, good move for sure. However, it's probably the weakest of the signature moves of the ancient legendary trio. So that also it's a nice to have, but it's not that good, to be honest. So what are some sets? So the first set that I just kind of thought up was just a standard assault set, an assault vest set with this Ghost Terra to avoid fake out. Because you have so many good supporting moves. You have Flare Blitz for damage, you have Bulldoze to lower speed, and potentially proc any weakness policies or something like that. You have Breaking Swipe to lower attack, you have Snarl to lower special attack. It's just a lot of good supporting moves. And I would say on Gouging Fire, almost always want to be wanting to run max speed. Like absolutely max speed. Because, well, first of all, you're 1 point faster than Groudon and Kyogre, which is important. You're also speed tying Landorus Therian at 91 base. So I think it's just really important to keep your speed maxed out on this Pokemon. However, if you're running like a Sun team, then you want to be boosting your speed, so you're actually not really going to be caring that much about running exactly max speed, but you are going to be wanting to calculate what you're going to want to outspeed, because you're going to be wanting to run at least some speed. So you're always running speed. You're probably almost always just going to be running like a lot of bulk and maybe a little bit of attack. Once again, I chose Terra Ghost just to get the immunity to fake out. However, there is the set I've been seeing the most of, just in my playing, is 100 is definitely Booster Energy. That's just because it can really fit on any team, and this brings a lot of support. So Burning Bulwark, in my opinion, the best thing about Burning Bulwark is that it really, really makes people like question whether they want to click Fake Out or not. Because if they click Fake Out and you protect, normally it's like, oh, big deal. Like he can't protect next turn. But if you click Fake Out into Gouging Fire and he Burning Bulwarks, then you're kind of screwed because now you're burned. And most Fake Out users are going to be physical attackers, so that's just really, really going to hurt you. And that's a serious, serious drawback. So that's why I'm not saying you probably shouldn't. If you're running Burning Bulwark, you don't really want to be running Ghost Terra because you're not really worried about them fake outing anyway. You might be one of the best anti-fake out Pokemon in the game, short of something like Farigiraf, honestly. So I just said Terra Grass because you're immune to Rage Powder and Spore, plus you get resistance to your ground weakness. So it's just a good, solid Terra type. We also have Flare Blitz just for damage. I mean, you're always going to be running in a damaging move because Gouging Fire's attack is high enough that he's still going to be dealing decent damage without any attack investment. Next we have Howl. Howl is a very, very good move that not very many good Pokemon get. Most Pokemon that get Howl are really bad, like Lycanroc, like just kind of trash. However, because Booster Energy Gouging Fire is so fast, you basically always get Howl before your partner attacks. So it is a very, very powerful move. And also because getting +1 Flare Blitz is also just a big deal in the first place. And Snarl, once again, because Snarl on a fast Pokemon plus an Intimidate Pokemon is just a super strong. It has always been, like, it's just very, very strong. Next, I thought I changed this. Apparently I did not. Okay, so if you're running Booster Energy, you're almost always going to be wanting to boost your speed, which means that you cannot increase your attack higher than your speed, which means you can never run max attack, and you basically always have to run max speed. So this is the maximum amount of attack you can run while staying while you're keeping your speed stat higher than your attack stat. So this is basically what you're probably always going to be running to run if you're running Booster Energy. Actually, I mean, you could also just run like no attack and put it into bulk, but I think boosting yourself with Howl is like good enough. A strong Flare Blitz is honestly, I think, just good enough of a reason to be running some attack. Next we have, so basically I like to give 3 different sets and 3 different items that a Pokemon can use well. And honestly, I think that Assault Vest and Booster Energy are just the best ones. However, if you're running Booster Energy on a Sun team, it's kind of just a wasted item. So if you're on specifically a Sun team, I think this set could work. Basically, it's just a choice band, the four strongest attacking moves that Gouging Fire has. Terra Fire to boost its flare blitzes. It's just, I changed it on this one. So it's just max speed, as much, so 157 speed, 156 attack, once again, so that you're boosting your speed in the sun instead of boosting your attack, which is just infinitely more valuable. And so this is just basically doing a lot of damage. However, I really think this only works on a Sun team. And I also think this is not the way to use this Pokemon. I think, personally, it's much better of a support Pokemon, like a hybrid support Pokemon and offensive Pokemon. It's bulky, it has supporting moves, and it can deal damage. I think that's the best way to use it. However, if you want to use it just to deal damage, then here's the option. However, once again, I think that honestly Entei is just the better choice band attacker. So unless you really want a fire type on your, unless you really want a dragon type on your team, then I think Entei is probably going to be better on your team just because it has so much of a better ability for being a physical attacker, and it gets access to extreme speed and sacred fire, which are both better than, like, I mean, these are two extremely good moves. Extreme speed and sacred fire are extremely good. It's just better than flare blitz. It's better than crunch. Like, this is what, like, Entei has a better move pool for attacking, and he's also naturally faster. So if you're not on a Sun team, you definitely want to be running Entei or Gouging Fire. However, on a Sun team, Gouging Fire definitely does have a place. However, also, once again, you're a fire type, and that could potentially, it's really easy to have too many fire types on a Sun team. Oh, by the way, so this is what Sacred Fire is if you're wanting to look toward using Entei. It's 100 base power, it's 95% accuracy, which, in my opinion, is 100% accuracy and 95% accuracy is not that big of a deal. Like, you're going to be missing 1 in 20 Sacred Fires. You're probably clicking Sacred Fire 3 times a game, maybe 4. So that means you're missing 1 Sacred Fire per 5 matches. Like, so I can see why people would be slightly hesitant, but I do not think it's that big of a deal. And the fact that it's 0 recoil, 100 power, 100 base power physical move with a 50% chance to burn is just really, really good. Like, it's very, very good. Hopping over to Pikalytics just to see what Pokemon it uses. So once again, most people are running Snarl, Flare Blitz, Burning Bulwark, Howl. It's just a very good set. This is probably, in my opinion, the best set you can run on this thing with Booster Energy, if you're not on the Sun team. Some people are running Clear Amulet as well. I personally don't like Clear Amulet as an item because I just don't think it's that good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just don't think it's that good. I think Ghost Terra is just better than Covert Cloak as well, and I can understand safety goggles. I don't know what people are running actually. Anyway, and you can see down here, basically everyone, at least everyone on Showdown, is running basically max speed. So, yeah. Alright, so what are some teammates for Gouging Fire that you're going to want to be using? Well, in my opinion, like, obviously, photosynthesis Pokemon are always going to be good on a Sun team, so on Koraidon or Groudon. They're both just very good, like, with it. And the best part is that Koraidon is not a fire type, so you're not doubling up your fire type. However, doubling up your fire types just on a Sun team, which is very valuable. And also, even though Gouging Fire is also a Dragon type, Fire resists Dragon. Fire resists Fairy, so you actually you're not even doubling up on your Fairy weaknesses, which is very important on a Koraidon team because Koraidon hates Fairy types with a burning passion. Groudon, I honestly think that it might work better with Groudon just because you're not doubling up on any type whatsoever. And also, I think that Groudon teams value the speed more than Koraidon teams do because Groudon is already so fast that it kind of can deal with having slower partners, but Groudon is so slow that it really feels like you need fast Pokemon in the team, and I think that Gouging Fire, being able to boost Groudon's already absurdly high attack stat is just very, very good. Plus, you triple resist, you double resist Grass, which Groudon's weak to, You're not weak to ice. You're not weak to water. It is very good defensive synergy as well. And while the synergy is also there with Koraidon, it's not. I don't think it's as good as with Koraidon. So overall, oops, list. I forgot to open the tier list maker thingamajigger. This is the problem with being on a new computer. I don't think I have signed in here. I guess we're not going to have a tier list on this video. Anyway, I would put, so just for memory, we have Raging Bolt in basically what is A tier. It's just strong, but it's not meta defining, but it is strong. We have Walking Wake below that, one tier below Raging Bolt. And I think I would also put Gouging Fire one tier below Walking Wake. It's definitely, in my opinion, the worst of the ancient trio. However, it is still not bad. It has a lot of potential as a kind of hybrid offense, hybrid support Pokemon with a good supporting moveset, and I can also do damage. And I think that supporting Pokemon that can do damage are kind of rare, so this always will have a place on teams. And I think that's all I want to talk about this Pokemon. If you guys have any Pokemon you want me to review and give a guide on next, or like just in the future, comment that down below. And also, just as a heads up, I think that I want to make a lot more longer form video about like a longer guide about some specific Pokemon. So if that's something you guys want to see, I was thinking about doing the top 3 Pokemon of every type to fill a hole in your team. So the top 3 fire types that'll fill a hole in your team if you need a fire type. Top 3 steel, the top 3 bug, and so on and so forth. If that's something you guys want to see, then leave that in your comments as well. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Eve out.